Shannon, what is the biggest issue with the Cowboys offense?
The inconsistency of Dak. Because if you look at it in the big games, when you need him the most, he comes up the smallest. And at some point in time, we got to have to put the blame at his feet and says, okay, you know what, Dak? We're paying you X amount of dollars. You're supposed to perform. You told us you wanted these tier. They got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And they keep saying Dak. They keep telling me Dak is a borderline tier. He's tier 2, borderline tier 1. I can't tell. I cannot tell because 3 consecutive picks, back to back to back. That's not good enough. In the big moments is when your players, your big-time players, your high-value players, that's the time they're supposed to shine the brightest. And it's in these moments when Dak shines the least. That's unacceptable. And I don't care how great your defense is because I played on a historically great defense. We kept turning the ball over, and we were losing games. Once we stopped turning the ball over, we forced teams to drive 70 and 80 yards. If we got up 10, if we got up 7-0, we got up 7-3, we got up 10-0, it was curtains. Unless you got a scoop and score, unless you got a pick six, you couldn't beat us. So now I'm asking Dak and I'm asking this offense, and this might be a rhetorical question, it might not be. What does the Dallas offense show you when their defense doesn't give them pick sixes, scoop and scores, or their special teams doesn't set them up on short fields? Have we seen Dak consistently drive the football? Yeah, they beat up on bad offenses, the Jets, the Giants, the Patriots, but the teams, 2 teams scored more than 20, and both teams blew them out. That's on Dak. Dak is the quarterback. He's expected to deliver, and he has not in the big moments.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say about Dak Prescott, but this offense also has no identity. This offense is more confused than Jada Pinkett hearing Will Smith call her wife at the Oscars, right? They don't really know how they're going to figure out what they want to be. Is it going to be CeeDee Lamb? Is it going to be Tony Pollard? How will we be creative and allow Dak Prescott the easy throws when things have gotten hairy with this team? And you look at the Arizona Cardinals game. You also go to the San Francisco 49ers game. When a play needed to be made, this offense wasn't helped in any way. It was, oh, we have CeeDee Lamb on Keitrell Clark. Let's try to get him the football. Oh, we have this deep ball with a middle of the field safety in the post. Let's throw this post. None of those things make sense. Some of those things are decision-making by your quarterback. You got to be able to see that Tayshaun Gibson is hanging high, and you can't throw that football. Eat it, seed it, run it, do something different. But also, why isn't CeeDee Lamb targeted like a guy I mentioned earlier, Puka Nacua? Why isn't he targeted like we saw Jamar Chase last week against the Arizona Cardinals for 15 catches? Or like we saw against Kansas City, Garrett Wilson, 14 opportunities. Those are the things that need to be happening. We spoke all offseason about Mike McCarthy and his play calling, Mike McCarthy and his game plan, and that they wanted to be more efficient. They wanted to run the ball. Well, part of that should have been creativity as well. We've seen what these great coordinators can do through creativity, through motion, through putting people in places where they have to adjust defensively. The Dallas Cowboys do none of that. And so, yes, is Dak Prescott a problem? For sure. But have we not seen Dak Prescott play at a high level before? Have we not seen him in offensive systems that allow him to do what he does best, accentuate his positives and decrease his opportunities for his weaknesses? Yes. Mike McCarthy is doing none of that. He's saying, I want a Super Bowl. This is how I want a Super Bowl. This is what I do. Let's put all of these square pieces into these round holes. That's not how it works. This team needs a total workover offensively. I just don't know if there's time to do it. So if the defense doesn't dominate and turn the ball over, we'll be having these conversations every week.
Listen, last year I was eviscerated because I put Jalen Hurts in my top 10. I took Dak Prescott out. Dak Prescott has been a product of a great environment, right? And when he couldn't get things done, they went and traded for Amari Cooper. But you paid him the money to be a guy that's not a system guy. And I think they overvalue who he is. And they're going to have a tremendous decision to make at the end of the season. Because the way that it's trending is that Dak is going to probably, and the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a wild card team because we think that we're going to get a division to Philadelphia. And that puts them square in the sight line of either Philadelphia in the first round or the San Francisco 49ers. So we know how this movie ends. This movie's going to end the same way that it always ends, with them going home in the first round. So then now you have to make a decision on Dak Prescott to pay him $55 million a year. And he's showing you that he's not a upper echelon quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, much like the player that he replaced in Tony Romo, who can never get it done in the postseason as well. So Dallas overvalues their players too much, and they don't look at it, the way that everybody else sees it. That Dak is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, and they may have to make some other decisions because his contract is restricting you from going out and stacking a deck like San Francisco can with an average quarterback with a tremendous scheme and a lot of weapons.
But that's what happens. That's what Dallas always do. They always overvalue the players that they draft. And I said this on the old show, they made a huge mistake in getting rid of Amari Cooper. Because if you look at Michael Gallup and you look at Brandon Cooks, I know it's early, but they have not performed to the level that Jerry Jones expected. Also, we keep giving Mike McCarthy a lot of credit, and maybe he deserves credit. But here's the thing. Hell, the dude coached 7 MVPs. How hard is it? You got Brett Favre, and then you go to Aaron Rodgers. Well, how hard is it for you to call a play? Well, damn. It's like Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach for the Braves. You got John Smoltz, you got Tommy Glavine, you got Greg Maddux. Well, hell, how hard is it to be a pitching coach? You got 3 Hall of Famers. You got 3 first ballot Hall of Famers. So it's not that hard. And again, since Dak, if you remember, guys, when Dak broke his ankle, Dak doesn't have the same mobility. He's not as athletic as he once was.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Right. He's lumbering. It's not as fluid as he once was. So I think there's a lot of things at play here. His athleticism has waned. And look at that offensive line. You got 2 guys that are going to the Hall of Fame, the first ballot, the left tackle and the right guard. And hell, that left guard looked like the second coming of Larry Allen. And you can't get more than what you're getting out of this offense. You look at them 20th in red zone efficiency, 30th in goal-to-goal efficiency, 14th in first down, 17th in yards per game. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
Everything, and Michael Parsons keeps reiterating, well, we've got to do this. It is a team. No one side of the ball gets to go to the Super Bowl without the other. Everybody has to pull their weight. We also understand offense is not going to always be up. Defense isn't going to always be down. But when one side of the ball is down, the other side has to pick it up. And what we've seen when the Cowboys defense has been down, the Cowboys offense has been unable to pick it up.